Alright, here's where we left it last time. I made a little test slope area here. And what I'm doing is just making a little test bed for testing out how Zool Object Zool Ice interacts with slope, which is supposed to be icy. So I set up a little trench to do that and a little platform to stand on. And so where we left it in the code, now that I've made all the slopes now, and all the slopes are children of object slope, which is a child of object ramp. I'm a little surprised by that a slope is a ramp. I thought a slope would be more like a ledge or a platform, but that's the way it's set up here. And so just so visually it looks nice, I think we should go to the tile layer, and this is the tiles 2 layer. This is, I think, the foreground tiles. And I'm just going to pick tiles off of here. Like I've already grabbed this one, and I'm going to place that, covering that one you can't see. Because when you run it, you won't be able to actually see it. And then, unless you put these tiles there, so I'm just putting tiles there to show that they exist. Where's that one? I think that's that one. So that way we'll be able to see it, and I'll just grab a square here for the object slope, and then here, not that one, here. And we'll place that there. A couple of these, and then this one, that one. And we have our slopes in place, and then I'm just going to put some of this stuff. I don't know how wide it is. I'll just grab that many, see if that fits. Looks like it does. And there's our platform, and maybe make it look nice by grabbing these, put them underneath. Doesn't look that great. Well, it works. Close enough for jazz, right? All right. So now going back to the code then, we were looking at Object Zool Ice. And remember in Object Zool Ice, the last thing we did was we went into the begin step event. And I have to apologize for my cold. I'm really struggling with a cold lately. I've got bronchitis and I can barely breathe. It's really frustrating. I've had it for a while, and so I'm trying to get past that. So I've gone in and filled in the missing code here in the begin step event. Let's see if I can get this to scroll so I can actually see the code. I'm still struggling with this editor. It's kind of frustrating. Okay, so what we finished last time was we put this if statement in there, and we were checking to see if we were on a slope, and if we are, what it does is it sets the direction of the gravity to match up with the angle of the slope, and then it sets the right image index in this begin step event. So here you can see what I did for object slope U1. U2 is exactly the same, and so and I'm doing change else ifs. I think in the reference game they didn't do this, and they keep asking it over and over again, and that's not very efficient. Code-wise, once you find it, you don't want to continue to look for a slope if you already know which slope it is. So if you use else ifs, it kind of weeds that out. You save a lot of processing, especially things later on in the list. Or earlier in the list, you don't have to check everything else. So, because you already know what it is. I always say this question in coding: don't ask questions you already know the answer to. So for U1 and U2 will have the same settings. U3 looks like it's a little different. It's 225, and the image index is 1. And then for D1, we're going the other way. This is the downslope. Our gravity direction is -45. And then here's the down 2 slope. And then these two are the same. Down 2 and that should be D3, so I'm glad I caught that. So 3, maybe that's why my thing was kind of behaving funny. So make sure D1, D2, D3. When you're doing pasting, make sure you don't make any pasting errors like I did there. But here we go. Those are set to the same thing. Negative 22.5. Image index of 4. Same thing here. And then I think we have everything set in our begin step event. Alright, so once you've verified all your settings, we can move on then to the InStep event. Notice that there isn't one here, nor are we getting one from the parent. So we're going to add that event. And that's InStep event. And what does it want us to do? Well, the first thing it wants to do is to check for an object. So we have to drop down into code mode again. So again, I have to play this game with the windows to see if I can actually get it to edit. There it is. Okay, so execute code. So if, again, place meeting, our x and y is, I guess x, y plus 1, actually, yeah, it's y plus 1. This is relative to the x and y coordinates. And what are we looking for? Object slope. And we want to do negation of this. We don't want to do this if there is an object slope there. We want to do if there's not an object slope there, so we put in an exclamation point. It means not. And then make sure I put in a parentheses. And then for the body of the if statements, the question is, what do we do when we know that there's not a slope there? Well, we need to do a move to contact. So we do a move, contact, I think it's all, since we're not using solid here, at least the solid checkbox in GameMaker. Our direction is 270, because we're going down, and the maximum amount to move is -1, and put a semicolon here. Looks like I jumped the gun a little bit. I forgot one if statement. Let's do that next. Inside this body of this if statement, we have another if statement, and this time we're going to be checking for object slope again. And this time we're not looking directly beneath us. We're looking if where we're going to be going has an object slope there. So we're looking kind of based on our speed. So we say x, we say y plus speed. Not sure why that's not h or v speed, but we're trying to check if there's a slope a little bit ahead of Zool's feet that he needs to move down into. So if that's the case, and again we're looking for object slope. Seems odd to look for it and not see it, and then look for it again and do see it. But again, what we're doing here is checking to see if there's a slope a little ahead of us. So we're hanging in the air perhaps. And then if there is a slope, then we move to contact until we hit it based on our speed. So that keeps us on the ramp or on the slope. Kind of moves us down onto the slope, kind of like what we did when we were coming down the ramp. And then for this, I think it's this one, we want to say else. So what are we saying in the English here? We're going to say in the case where there isn't a slope there, then we have to do some state transitions, I suppose. So what do we do? We want to check to see if there's a platform there. So again, one of these kind of things. And just copy this. and we're looking for a platform this time. And if there is a platform there, I think it's positive. Then what we do is we do an instance change, and this makes sense, into object Zool land, and we will call perform events. So we check that, and then if that's not the case, then there's not a platform there, then we know we're in the air, so we have to handle that. And our instance change then here is object Zool air, because we are not on a platform. That must mean we're hanging in the air. So we're going to switch to object Zool air here. And then we have to close off the if statements. And I think that's everything. So checking our list, I think that's all. I have a sneaky suspicion that something bad is not working, or something that's not working correctly. So let's try it. All right, so here's object Zool. We're giving it a try. Let's try it. Jumps. And what we're going to do is just kind of walk onto the slope and see how we kind of fall through the slope, which is not good. I bumped my head on the slope. I guess I should have put it right there. I guess I have to jump up onto the ramp from here, but that's going to be hard. I didn't put a wall there, so I don't think I make it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to restart. While we're at it, we might as well put a restart key in here. I think that's object Zool, unless we have a controller. I like a lot of keyboard events here. Do we have a controller? I don't think we have a controller yet. Usually I put this kind of stuff in a controller. No, I think we'll have to use object Zool land, maybe. Yeah, here's all our keyboard events. Let's add a key down event for the letter R, just to restart the room, so that we don't have to keep restarting the whole game. It takes a while to compile. What do? We want to restart room. Restart room. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, here's my room. If I say restart room, it doesn't look like it worked. Oh, that's because I'm not on the land. Okay, so I'm on the land. I hit R. Yeah, it restarts the room. Good. So I'll save us a little time. Okay, so I'm going to try it from over here. Oops, went right through. Oh, I can jump through it. So it's not really behaving very solid. It does seem to... See, if I interact it from the air, it just... You see, right when it gets there, it kind of loses track of where it goes, and then it falls through. So I think this is our problem that I was worried about back in, I guess it's the InStep event of object Zool ice. Or maybe the begin step. No. Yeah, I was here. I'm going to scroll up a bit. Now let's see if I can figure out how to do that. I guess I'll do that and reopen it. Let's be back and say minus. I want to scoot down. There we go. Okay, we'll zoom in. Yeah, I was worried about this gravity direction. And right now there's really, well, there's an object slope, right? The slope is a ramp, and a ramp is a platform. So I think this gravity direction is what's messing us up. So we're going to set gravity direction to 270 to make it go down. But again, I'm not confident this is going to fix it either. Alright, so I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm going to replace some of these platforms with object slopes, just the standard version. Here. I'm going to put some of those here. I guess replace. What does that mean? I don't know. So hopefully it's deleting what's underneath. Let me just make sure. I guess it's not. Interesting. Okay, and so I'm putting in object slopes here. If I hold down Alt, it lets me paint it. Okay. So I'm deleting these platforms and making it ice. And against slope. Holding down the Alt key so I can paint it on. I'm going to see how Zool behaves when he's standing just on flat surface. Try it again. Okay, so I've got Zool where I want, and now I'm just trying to walk onto the ice platform that I made. I've shut off the visibility of the tile layer. See how I just fall right through? Alright, so I'm going to take a pause here and see if I can figure out what's going on there. Okay, back in position. Try walking onto the ice. I want to see if see how he starts to slide. So he shouldn't do that when he's on object. When he's on the ice, he should be. I can't move either way either because it looks like I've fallen a little bit. So I have some sleuthing to do. I'm going to work on it a little bit more. So I forgot to mention in that last test, I set the gravity to 0 here in the begin step event. So I set the state to slip, the gravity to 0, the gravity direction to 270, the image index to 2. The question is, why are we going to object index 0 for object Zool and just a regular slope? Not sure. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a case for just object slope, and I'll set everything I need for that and see if that fixes the problem. So one problem I found was that here in the draw event of object Zool, there was a bug that I introduced when I put in the draw sprite. I had this set to 0, which is always going to show you the first image in the the set of images for this sprite. We want to set that to -1 because we're setting our image index specifically, and so if we've always put 0 there, it's always going to draw the first one in the list rather than the image index. So put a -1 in there, or image index, either one would work. Put that -1 here when the state is equal to z state slip, and then here again going left, going the other way. I'll run the game and we'll see. Alright, here I am, and typically you're not going to see slopes here like this, like a platform. That just doesn't work, because once you're on it and say you lose all your speed, there's no way to actually control it, because Object Zool Ice doesn't have any user key presses you can press to make you move. But if I scooch over just a little bit, I'm right now on a platform, and then try to get a little speed on the ice, see how he slides a bit, but now we can't control him at all. So these slopes, and especially this box, just this one thing, should never be on its own, kind of on a platform or in a horizontal plane like that. It should only be at the bottom of a slope when you're trying to change directions. So right now I can't control the character at all. But at least I fix the problem where it's not, where it's showing the correct sprite. Now, I still have the problem. If I restart this, I still have the problem where I'm kind of sliding through the slope. Okay, so here I am. I'm running along, and I start the slope, but see how I kind of fall off? I should probably put the tiles back in, but if I get here, and you saw just for a moment there that it actually showed the right sprite, but then I seem to fall through the floor there. I think that might be caused by one thing. Let me try some. Alright, I'm going to stop the video here, and then in the next video I'll have a solution to this problem, but I want to get this video out there, and we'll get this solved next time.